We are back. Welcome back to the Two Blues podcast. Another win, another live match reaction. 2-3-1 wins back to back. Didn't think that was going to happen after that first half, a game of two halves, but what a way to finish the game. You can never judge. You can never tell which Chelsea team is going to come out and perform. And as I said, it was a game of two halves today. The second half was a completely different Chelsea team, but we saw it, man. Nicholas Jackson sprinting over to Enzo Fernandez, man. The bond that some of these players have is solidifying. We are getting there. We are building a team spirit, a team character to get through today, which was tough, obviously going one behind. It's a game we should have been winning, should have been 2-3 ahead. I didn't have a single shot until the 45th, 46th minute, which, wasn't really even a clear-cut chance. It was a half chance. We turned it around in that second half, largely due to Cole Palmer and Conor Gallagher. Obviously had a fantastic, chose his moments, decided today to step up. Hasn't had a Premier League goal yet. He's got one, I think, in the FA Cup. No Premier League goals yet, but as of today, 2 Premier League goals for Conor Gallagher. What a game. I was wondering whether if he scored, he was going to celebrate, but fucking hell, he didn't hold back. He knew where his loyalties lied. Fair enough. I've got to give him his credit where it's due. I've been saying for a while that our best situation is with the three of those, Enzo, Caicedo, Conor Gallagher, playing together. And I think Conor Gallagher plays better when he's that roaming centre midfielder. In the first half, Enzo was playing far too deep. Far too high, sorry. He was playing, again, almost as a second striker. For large periods of the game, he was just alienated. When he did drop back, he was trying to, dictate and trying to influence the game. And he had a little bit more of an impact, creating stuff, putting balls forward, and a lot of the time in the first half, it didn't come off, to be fair. But I think that they all play a crucial part in that midfield at the moment, and we've just got to keep that consistency. In a team where Poch doesn't know his best 11, doesn't know his first 11, he's just got to keep that consistency and got to keep those midfield three when they're playing and when they're fit. He's got to keep them as consistent as possible. But a lot of the Chelsea players, I can't really highlight anybody in the first half that played well. I think Malo Gusto was all right. Everyone, there was just too many mistakes for me. There was a few players that I think for me were all right, but there was just too many mistakes across the board for me. Unenforced errors, personal mistakes, sloppy touches. It just looked poor. It just looked weak in that first half. But in the second half, we turned up. Malo Gusto, yeah, let's just start on Malo Gusto. The kid is, I don't know how he never saw it from the start. The kid is phenomenal. Obviously grateful that we got him in when we did, because Reece, had we just been relying on Reece James and then had Disasi, Gilchrist, whatever as understudies, we would have been fucked. But Gusto's showing up week in, week out. He's putting in player of the match performances week in, week out. Again today, superb. The majority of 9 balls out of 10 put into the box were by Malo Gusto today. He obviously got the assist for the first Conor Gallagher goal. He was the one getting in dangerous positions, stressing out Tyrick Mitchell. He was giving it large. And, when he came off, Franco was giving him a little bit of grief towards the end. But when he came off, that was when they really came alive and started going at us. And we lost a little bit of that intensity and that hunger. And I feel like Malo Gusto has that. And Malo Gusto represents that. As young as he is, he kind of understands what it is to play for Chelsea and what it is to represent this team and to wear this shirt. And fair play to him. He plays out his skin every single time. And today, another top performance from him, I thought, in that second half at least. For the minutes that he played, he was fantastic. He was one of the top performers in the team today. Cole Palmer, again, in the first half, when he was in that 9, I think I saw a comment. I'll jump into the comments real quick because I think I saw a comment saying Poch should stop using Palmer as a number 9. It doesn't work. Appreciate you joining, Quasi. I agree. I don't understand why, when we have now Nkunku and Jackson fit, we are continuing to use Cole Palmer as the number 9 when he so clearly is better off that right side or as a number 10. I personally would rather him utilised as a number 10. But in the situation that we have, I mean, you've got to put either, I would go Nkunku up top, maybe Jackson out left. At the moment, I think I prefer Jackson out left to up top, and then Palmer in the 10. And then, you've got Madueke or Mudryk out wide. You've got a load of attacking intent and pace and trickery. You got a lot of unpredictability going forward, but at the moment it's still a little bit dry. And obviously we didn't see Mudryk off the bench today. Madueke had a poor showing. I'll just come out on record and say that. I know he just said his name and that he should get more game time, but yeah, he was obviously poor today, and I think he was guilty for the goal as well. So that doesn't read great on his rap sheet, but I still think he's a great player and he needs more game time, and he just needs to continue boosting his confidence, and his performances will just grow from that. Sterling had, I thought Mudryk could have come on instead of Sterling, but obviously in hindsight, I can't complain in terms of his game management. Being experienced, Sterling was obviously the right choice, and came on and had a positive impact. I thought at first, it was going to be one of those frustrating things when he couldn't quite get that ball through to Nkunku. I'm going to say it was 6 of one, half a dozen of the other in terms of fault there. But he created that winning goal, that second goal from nothing. Managed to create the impetus and put the ball forward that we've just been waiting for 90 minutes. And it was that first half was so frustrating to continually see and hear that we were having 75, 80% of the possession, but absolutely none of it was in the final third. We hadn't had a single shot. There was no intent. There was no, there was no intensity and tempo. We were just passing the ball around the back, and it was just like a training drill. For Thiago Silva, such an experienced player, you expect him to be the one to lead the line and lead by example. And he moves the ball a little bit too slowly for my liking and for a fair few Chelsea fans' likings. And I think Gary Neville said it on commentary. When you're winning, if you're 2-3-0 up, that's fine. Play with the ball at the back. It's more than okay to have possession and to gain control of the game and to dictate the tempo, maybe slow it down if it's getting a little bit too end to end. But we're in a situation where we're 0-0 or 1-0 down at that point, and we're just kind of passing it around the back willy-nilly, not trying to get forward, not trying to pass through it, not trying to thread the lines, not trying to break anything. It was frustrating to watch, and it's chalk and cheese from the Chelsea that we saw in midweek against Aston Villa that would die for every single ball, every single 50-50. The Chelsea player was putting their neck on it. And it was tough to it was, I was just thinking, as I was watching it, I was thinking, it's back to Chelsea, back to business, back to normal. I don't know why I expected us to go back-to-back games where we could pull out performances. I don't know why I expected these players to do it more than 90 minutes in 1 week. But, second half, fair play to them. They kind of, whatever Poch said and Poch did must have worked. Obviously, the tactical tweaks at half-time is something that I've been kind of wanting to see quite a bit recently. We saw it a few times early on, where we'd be losing games or we wouldn't be playing particularly well, or the system wouldn't be working. And then we'd come out at half time with a few little tweaks, or Poch would have changed the system, maybe even not bringing a player on, maybe just switching a couple of players around, dropping someone a little bit deeper. And it worked. And we were praising Poch and saying this guy, is starting to understand the team, starting to get a little bit of a grip for what's going on, starting to be able to read the situations that we're in and what we need and with the players available to us. But it's been something that's been lacking recently in the last couple of months, definitely. And today it was good to see at half time, not only the change, but also a little bit of a tactical tweak, with that change, Cole Palmer moving outside. You could clearly see that he was having no impact. He was barely on the ball in that first half. In 80%, 75, 80% possession in that first half. How much of it did Cole Palmer have? Very, very little, and of that, none of it was chance creation. None of it was putting a ball into the box. None of it was having a shot. So he was virtually ineffective in that first half, as were the majority of Chelsea players. It's tough to say, but a lot of those Chelsea players were pretty much useless in that first half. I kind of want to write that off, because obviously we're riding the high of another 3-1, another. I don't know how we've done it. I don't know how we pull our finger out. I don't know how we turn that around from that first half to get to 3-1, to get to that final 6-7 minutes, whatever it was. That was a whirlwind. And that was obviously what we kind of wanted to see early on. Crystal Palace had left themselves open to the counter-attack. We could have gone in and done what we did in injury time in the first half. If we really set about it and really gone about our jobs, I don't understand how the players that we had. And this is something that we've been actually. Poch has obviously been branded and been, sold to us as a manager that increases the stamina, increases the players' ability off the ball, and increases their running power and their pressing, and they're able to do it, and their fitness, they're able to do it for 100 minutes and 90 minutes where other teams aren't. And we saw that a little bit today. Cole Palmer looked at 100% speed, and maybe that was because he wasn't used really in the first half, but he looked at 100% speed at 90 plus minutes. And when we were breaking there, that was the fastest that we looked all game. And I don't know why it took us so long, and why it took us 90 minutes, and why it took us needing or having 2 minutes left to need to win to get the goals. But we got it over the line. And yeah, like I said earlier, we owe it in a large part to Conor Gallagher. Came out today, did the job that we needed him to do, as usual. As usual as well, sloppy on the ball. A few situations where he just gets the ball, gets his head down and just runs, and then runs himself into a cul-de-sac. And it frustrates me so much because he's got so many good potential, good attributes. He's got good potential, but I feel like he's just so limited by his tunnel vision, his narrow-mindedness. He's just focused on getting the ball and just running with it, and he just loves to run, bro. He just loves to. I wouldn't be surprised if he quits professional football and becomes a long distance runner or an athlete of some sort. He's an absolute maniac for it. But he obviously pulled through today, and we've been saying that he needs to come through with the finishes and needs to come through with the goals, and he did it today. He bought it against Aston Villa in midweek with a great finish there. 2 today. Long may it continue. Long may this last. If Conor Gallagher can continue to get on the score sheet, if we can get 3-4 more players, scoring goals, we've already got, Nico Jackson on a few, Cole Palmer on 10 or whatever. We're slowly building back to a Chelsea team that has 4 or 5 attacking outlets, or 4 or 5 players that can cause damage. And that's been our main problem recently. Not even the fact that we haven't had a number 9 in recent seasons, that we haven't had an array of players. You look back to any Chelsea, any real successful Chelsea team or Chelsea unit, you look at the Hazard Oscar Mata, or the Willian Pedro Hazard, there was always 3-4 players in that squad that were capable of scoring 15-20 goals a season. And that was, 15, 20 goals and 15, 20 assists. They were on fire. They were the majority of the source. It was I don't want to go as far as to say Salah, Mane, Firmino, or our MSN, but that was our, we need 3 or 4 players that are going to consistently hold down performances and goal contributions that because at the end of the day, there's no way that this Chelsea side, we're still on 2 goal difference, and we're 10th in the table. We need more from this Chelsea team in terms of attacking output and attacking goals. We need this Chelsea team to be ruthless in situations like today. When you see a Crystal Palace team with no Mark Gehi, no Eberici Eze, no Michael Olise, you're thinking we've got to go for the kill. Roy Hodgson's under a lot of pressure. I know they're going to, want to come out and do a lot, but you get into them early, you put them a goal down, and they're just going to roll over like they have in recent weeks. They've been absolutely turned over by certain teams, and we could have and should have done that with our possession in the first half, but it took us, going down and obviously getting back in an absolute bollocking, I imagine, from Poch at half time to get us to, to put in any sort of performance. But, big up every single Chelsea player in that second half that pulled their thumb out, because, we did we managed to get it over the line. I said before the game, it was a must-win game. Crazy to think, because at the moment we're just pushing for mid-table, but, every game is a must-win game. We got City on Saturday. We needed to win today to get confidence and to get, momentum going on for that City game. I'm not saying we can win it, in a couple of days, I'll probably be putting our shot out and saying we'll win it. So make sure, by the way, while you're here, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, make sure to follow at 2 Blues Podcast on the Instagram and the TikTok. I put daily shorts out about Chelsea and about the worldwide football. But yeah, man, Manchester City on the weekend, big game. And I don't, if we pull out the same performance that we did today over 90 minutes, we're not going to be 1-0 down at half time. We're going to be 4-5-0 down at half time. Haaland, Alvarez, De Bruyne, Foden, all them man are firing. All them man are on top form, on top fitness. And this Chelsea team is way too inconsistent with the performances, with the results, with every single day, week in, week out. You never know which Chelsea side you are going to get. And it is tough. It is, being a Chelsea fan is nervous, because you want to be positive and you want to say that we're going to go out and win, particularly tonight. I'm seeing people comment on shorts earlier saying we're going to win 2-0, going to go out. And I'm thinking, are we really capable of a clean sheet against Crystal Palace? And obviously we proved tonight that we're not. It was an absolute stunner from Jefferson Lerma. Again, another goal that George Petrovic had, couldn't. I know Petr Cech was critical of him, but that's Petr Cech, man. And George Petrovic has just come from New England Revolution in the MLS. So let's cut him a little bit of slack. George Petrovic weren't saving that. And yeah, still to this day, very few things that George Petrovic has done wrong. I'm still fairly happy, or very happy, sorry, should I say, with him as Chelsea's number one at the moment. Even when Sanchez comes back, no chance that he outs Petrovic for me. But whether that rings true for Poch, I have no idea, because obviously he has his favourites. But a lot of Chelsea players, I mean, Disasi put out a little bit of a statement in that second half. He's I think one of Poch's favourite players. He's one of the most played players. Definitely, I think Chelsea's highest played player in terms of minutes in the Premier League this season. He seems to be a consistent fixture, and obviously one of the most experienced players in that Chelsea team. I know he's only 25, maybe 26, but he is one of the most experienced players in the team. Bearing in mind, taking into account it is in different leagues and at international level. It's not in the Premier League, but he's an experienced guy. He knows what he's doing, and he's obviously stamping or putting his stamp on this Chelsea team as a centre-back, as someone that can lead and play alongside Levi Colwill. And I don't mind that as a pairing at the moment, with the thought of Thiago Silva leaving at the end of the season, although he had another great performance tonight. I thought a couple of times in that first half, he's getting caught out for his pace, but he's making it up. He's just he's calculating the angles in his head. He's getting it right. He's getting that challenge just at the right time. And he did it a few times, and he just showed that at 40 years old, he is still one of the best centre-backs in the Premier League. He's so consistent. He's so good. And I know that this season we've seen a slight increase in terms of unenforced errors and personal mistakes. I know he's had his issues, and it hasn't been fantastic. He hasn't been the same Thiago Silva that he has been at Chelsea in the last couple of seasons, or last season, but even as recently as in the last couple of months, it's kind of been going a little bit downhill. With that being said, I thought it was great tonight, and really hopeful that the injury is not a serious injury, because Thiago Silva adds so much, and it's not just his quality and his talent on the ball. It's what he gives to this Chelsea team in terms of leadership and assurance, and how those other Chelsea players feel when they're playing around him and alongside him. And, the load that he takes off their mind in terms of the jobs that they don't have to do and the responsibilities that they don't have, that he can take over in terms of telling people where they need to be in command and being that voice and being that last man to narrate that back four and that essentially just hold that team in position. Players like Levi Colwill, Buddy Ashil, Fafana, we have a young centre-backs. They're not going to want to take them onto Disasi. He's not experienced enough in the Premier League to be bossing around the back four. And obviously Chilwell, I mean, as much as I understand him being our captain, out on the left, he's not the most vocal guy as is. And out on the left, he's not really commanding anything alongside that, along that back line. So I do kind of feel like we do lack a voice, lack leadership when Thiago Silva is not there. But Disasi, like I said, hopefully the injury is not long. And also, Disasi seems to be filling in those boots fairly well for now. So, long may that continue. Like I say, Levi Colwill's back. Obviously, fantastic to see him back today. It was a late fitness test, they said, to even, be considered and be in the team. And he ended up coming on and getting some minutes, which I, can't imagine did him any harm. Obviously, fantastic as well to see Trevor Chalobah on the bench for the first time in God knows how long. Yeah. Rumours rife over the last 8 months or whatever that he's going to be sold. But, he's got a few months to prove us all wrong and to prove Poch wrong. If he can get some minutes under his belt, if he can put some performances in, why can't he stay and be an option? I think he's also one of, if not Chelsea's longest serving player at this point. So, let's give him a bit of credit. Let's give him a bit of respect. But Nkunku, I think, should have started today. I said, I like his movement. And in the first half, you could see there was no movement. And like I said earlier, I kind of said that Enzo was playing too high, which is a massive issue. I don't know why. And again, don't know whether it's him, don't know whether it's Poch telling him to do it. I assume it's the latter, because I really don't think in his brain, in his mind, as a centre midfielder, Enzo Fernandez would willingly and continually go and stand on that back line and do something that he's not particularly familiar with. And he knows that's not his strength as well. And I feel like it's a a play to your strengths situation. When you have a midfield duo like that, like Caicedo and Enzo, you want them to be very close. You want them to be dictating play together, to be knocking the ball around, creating little triangles with whoever's in the number 10 or the centre back or the full back or whatever. But he's playing he's playing 30, 40 yards away, which creates which creates multiple problems. Because when we get caught on the counter, number one, he's not the greatest body to have in the box in terms of attacking ability or aerial ability. Number two, when we get caught on the counter, he's left running. He's not the fastest either. Caicedo's left exposed more often than not with 2-3 midfielders running at him. So they just knock it past him and then he gets blamed. But it's tough being Caicedo because he gets put in compromising situations a lot of the time. And I think his footwork's fantastic. I think he gets himself out of dangerous situations and out of trouble a lot very, very cleverly and very well. And his technical ability on the ball is undeniable. His distribution is kind of coming up to it. We can see the potential in his distribution. I think short term, short game, no question about him whatsoever. Long game, I want to see him playing a few more through balls like he did, against Villa, the fantastic through ball that he played. I want to see him playing more attacking balls, getting a little bit more like Enzo, getting a little bit more creative with it, creating a bit more chances, putting a few more things into the box. A lot of the time when he gets on the ball on the edge of the box, you just know he's not going to, even when he gets on a chance to shoot, you just know he's going to hesitate, take a touch, knock it to the side or knock it back. And that's what I don't like about this Chelsea team. A lot of the time we're quite hesitant to go forward, to take the opportunity and to take a shot. And it took us, like I said, it took us 46 minutes to have a shot today. And we need to be a lot less apprehensive. We need to just take the game to other clubs, particularly on games like today, days like today, games like today. It was a game that we should have, had dead and buried a lot earlier than we did. We shouldn't have allowed them to even go one up. It should have been, 1-0 Chelsea way before that. But we just don't really do anything and don't really look too bothered about it. We look content with mediocrity. And that goes, kind of across not just today's performance and the performances in general, but also the club as a whole. We seem content with Europe or 8th or 7th. It's not good. It's not the standard that this Chelsea team was demanding, or this Chelsea that Roman Abramovich was demanding 10-15 years ago when we had Jose Mourinho. It was 20 years ago, sorry, when we had Jose Mourinho. But it's a far cry from the Chelsea that we used to love and watch, but we're just about getting used to it. And there seems to be some playing for the badge that hasn't been there in recent weeks. Obviously, today wasn't fantastic in the first half, but as much as we can moan, they turned it around and they pulled their fingers out. And players like Gallagher, we have never had any question about his heart and his desire and his want and his commitment to this club. Even throughout all of the rumours, all of the links to other clubs, Newcastle, Tottenham, Villa, Wolves, whoever it was that was linked with Conor Gallagher, you heard nothing from him but solid performances on the pitch. When he needed to step up and needed to put the captain's armband on, I'd argue he played better. He led by example. I think he slipped into a little bit of a funk, but after a few poor-ish games, he really, he returned to where he was, and he has been recently. I think there was a game the other week where he could have been pulled off at halftime, but at the same time, I'm not going to dig people up for 45 minutes when over the whole season, he's been, definitely above average. He's been one of our most consistent, one of our better players, and the heart that he gives. And we've been saying for so long, he just needs to give more in terms of an attacking contribution and goals and assists and getting into that final third and actually making things happen instead of just, running into cul-de-sacs and passing it backwards or passing it sideways. And obviously 2 goals today, his first 2 goals in the Premier League this season. It's a long time coming, man. And yeah, as I've said with so many things in this episode so far, long may it continue. We'll jump into the comments real quick. Lemon, appreciate you joining. You're not Villa this weekend, no. My club, my players. Enzo Gusto is too good. Enzo's go. Taylor, appreciate you jumping in, my boy. So happy we didn't sell Gallagher. Would have been a mistake. Would have been a mistake. As much as I'm not his biggest fan, definitely would have been a mistake. Given the situation that our squad is in at the moment. And I mean, even with a fully packed squad, we could buy 2-3 more centre midfielders, and I still feel like Conor Gallagher would be a great impact substitution. He's not in an ideal world when we have a full team and everyone's fit, healthy, and playing together. I don't think Conor Gallagher starts even in this team, but he's a fantastic impact substitution and a fantastic player to have when you need impetus or when you need heart. You know, in a cup final, I'd probably play Conor Gallagher. You know, or a big game like that, you know, I'd probably play Conor Gallagher. I'd keep him on the, you know, he'd be my kind of secret. I don't want to label him like this because he's not, you know, he's not that in terms of finishing yet, but he'd be kind of be my secret weapon, and he's good enough at the moment to hold down. I've said for a long time that he's obviously part of that midfield trio that just needs to stay consistent. As long as we have Enzo, Caicedo, and Conor Gallagher playing in the centre mid, we have a spine to build on, and hopefully the centre backs can play, you know, can stay the same. But you know, with Thiago Silva injured today, I don't know. Maybe it'll be Disasi and Colwell for a bit, which, as I just said, it wouldn't be the worst thing. Oh, appreciate you, Quasi. Appreciate you, my guy. Spread the love, man. Spread the message. If you're here, subscribe and like. Promote this page, help grow it. Yeah, appreciate you, man. Just smash that subscribe button. Takes 1 second, it's free. Don't cost you nothing. Might be in with a chance. We did a giveaway recently and gave away a free Chelsea shirt as well. So, you know, if you do something for free at no cost to yourself, you might be in with a chance of winning something for free. You know, you never know. With Caicedo, that will come in time once Potter's got fully. Yeah, I hope so. Caicedo, we have no doubt he's a great player from what we've seen at Brighton, but you know, he just hasn't been the full package at Chelsea yet. He's shown glimpses and he's had great, you know, 7, 8 out of 10 performances, but we very rarely seen the full Caicedo yet. And you know, I'm gassed for when we do, and hopefully it'll be with Enzo. You know, I fully feel like Enzo sitting alongside him they'll unlock each other. I feel like if Enzo and Caicedo just play within arm's reach of each other, it'll all start to come together. But for some reason, he just keeps playing on that fucking front line. Taylor says, need to drop Sterling. Absolutely poor. Lemon is disagreeing as well, saying dissing Sterling too much. He's the GOAT. I don't know about the GOAT, bro. That's a bit of a stretch. But Sterling has been poor. And when he came on today, I was kind of going, oh, fuck, is it going to be another one of them? Number one, I thought Mudryk could have come on instead. Number two, you know, when he came on and made that pass to Nkunku, I just thought, yeah, come on, mate, do better. And then that shot from Palmer, I just thought, I'm going to have to dig him out. And I don't want to be that guy and don't want to be that hater and don't want to be that, but every time he's slow and every time he's shit, but obviously he was crucial to that second goal. So I'm not gonna dig Sterling out tonight. He created something that we had been lacking for a long time. Put, you know, Palmer on his bike, and yeah, fair play to him. He was an experienced player that we need. We need these experienced players to pull through in the big moments. That's exactly what we need from him and from them in general, you know. And I'm talking about kind of Thiago Silva and Raheem Sterling, and wow, yeah, that's it in terms of experienced players. But that obviously is what we need from Raheem to come through with a level head and actually benefit our team, you know, actually come through with a positive performance, actually help this Chelsea team, and he can see a situation that he's been in God knows how many times with City, Liverpool, England, Chelsea. I mean, he's seen this so many times where they've needed a goal, they've been behind, it's been late, where you've just got 1 or 2 opportunities to play the right pass. And obviously, you know, where he hasn't done in recent weeks, I will say that. You know, I'm not going to dig him out tonight. He obviously was, yeah, like I said, crucial to the winning goal. And yeah. That's about all I got for Sterling, because I mean he didn't play too long. There was about 3 things that he was involved in, 2 were negative and 1 was the chance. But yeah, he was. I mean, yeah, he's not convincing. But then again, I mean, Madueke was poor tonight. Mudryk, I would have liked to have seen Mudryk. I don't know why we didn't make our 5. We didn't use all 3. I don't know why we didn't play Mudryk. He's fit. He's available. He's on the bench. Poch must not see. I mean, this work rate, this training that we all saw and see from Mudryk off the pitch. Where is it? What's going on? I thought Poch was talking about work rate. You know, that's how you get selected for the team. But I mean, if Madueke isn't dropped and Mudryk put back in for him, actually, I'll say that it's definitely going to be Nkunku, Jackson, Palmer, Sterling next game against Man City, and it's definitely going to be Sterling against Man City. Let's just get that into it. Let's just accept that fact right now. Raheem Sterling will play against Man City. But yeah, we're going to need Nico Jackson to do what he did last time and come through with the goals. What was it last time? 4-4. We're going to need another game like that, another end-to-end, high tempo. We're just going to need a lot of chances and a lot of space, because if we play like we did today, and if they allow us to have possession, which obviously they won't, particularly I think is it at the Etihad? I can't remember. Oh no, it's not. It's at Chelsea, isn't it? But yeah, I can't imagine it's going to be. I can't imagine it's going to be fun. I can't imagine we're going to get away with it and going to get a draw as we did last time. They're just in too good a form. Obviously, Haaland's just come back, scored a couple of goals. De Bruyne is in the form of his life. I don't see us getting it, but I was negative, about today, and we came through. So a lot of time between now and then. A lot of things can change, but for now, it looks like Chelsea have just about, I say it looks like, we've just about managed to pull ourselves back into the top half of the table. We're 10th now, just about positive goal difference. What is it? 2 goal difference, maybe 1 goal difference. Absolutely diabolical reading for us, but could have been far worse. Could have been 11th, could have been negative goal difference. Yeah, at least we end the weekend on a high, or start the week, shall I say, on a high. And obviously we've got Manchester City on Saturday to look forward to. Hopefully myself and Mr. C Money Picks will be bringing you some sort of full match reaction player ratings episode maybe tomorrow night. But otherwise, we will be doing obviously a full live match reaction after the game on Saturday, Man City. So make sure, if you're not already, to subscribe. And obviously, please make sure to like the video. Doesn't cost nothing. Doesn't take no time. Like, drop us a comment as well. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. But yeah, I'm going to leave it about there. That just about rounds it up for another pretty mixed Chelsea performance. Like I said at the start, you never know what you're going to get with this Chelsea side. And yeah, bring on Man City, man. We can do it. I trust the boys. Nico Jackson, Enzo Fernandez. I've turned my decision around already. I'm way more positive than I was 5 minutes ago. We can do this. We got a week to recuperate. Let's get it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Make sure to follow @2Blues Podcast on the Instagram and the TikTok as well.